Good evening. It's that time again. Fiddling around with my Twitch settings a little bit. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, see me okay, etc. What's on the agenda today? It's what, the 30th? So how much time we got? 14 days. Ooh. Better get a move on. It's probably 4 more streams, give or take. Maybe we'll have a closing out the jam type stream when I do all the final cleanup. For now, let's get this leaderboard going. So, I want people to be able to start the game, pick their name maybe, then, well, no, if I pick the name, that's going to be a lot more tricky. Assume that's what that will be for. Because then we can do that. We can say that should be pretty simple. And then we'll just sort those by stuff. Or at least the last 3 attempts, I guess. And then eventually we can have a section like that. Okay. So we're going to follow the same pattern. Profile. And static load path. Construct. And scores or something. So that I can see what that looks like. And maybe file system load file name. Didn't notice I just copy that whole line. That. And today we've got something slightly different here, so we only care about the track right now. Let's assume that there's nothing in there. Maybe a tracks map, I guess, which will have the schools in. And then we say, I forget how, does Ren have a starts with? Please have a starts with. Yes! I knew we had a starts with. That's great. It's the best thing. Because then I can basically go starts with So basically saying if this thing starts with track, then single split on the space 1 and then we can set the track name here, like that. And then we can go profile. Well, I suppose that really you'd do that. So track name. Basically want to prevent accidentally overwriting a track. Let's just put a little print warning in just in case. How is everyone today? I've been having a pretty good day overall. It's been a bit cold, but can't complain about that anyway. Track name, school crashes, because I know what goes into my stuff. That. because then you get a simple array order. Though I guess you could make it a map as well, so you could overcomplicate things, I suppose, by going score, crashes. Well, at least you have the data, and you can always add extra metadata in later, like position and so on. So I think we'll do that. Maybe you want to pass that map in directly, but I'm okay with it for now. Have the object sort of process that one. So now to be honest, there's basically no reason not to do that. Because then you don't even need the starts with, it's just there. CMD1. Crashes can be CMD2. I think that does it. I do wish that we had the new sorting functions, but it's fine. I suppose I could just list a few, or store the most recent ones. But there's no point having it like that if we can't also save. For keys, because it's a map, we need to go and grab the thing specifically. So and then we can go data.add, score, first entry, second entry. And you could do stuff that would change that up, but it's fine. don't know actually if that works or if it will cause problems. We can try it. So the game at most should probably not handle multiple. Don't want to handle multiple player profiles because I'm expecting this to be a single player game, but that's not necessarily true, so we'll have to figure that out in a bit. Let's see how we go. Because then you can probably do... Well, let's just do this for a quick test and then go from there. Oh. I suppose you could do all of this as a static thing, but then... Yeah, let's have an array of so if profiles then do that and then return profiles dot count is, well, if n is less than profile dot count, then well, greater than or equal to. Otherwise, return profile n, because otherwise we want to go like that. Profile I'm pretty sure that lists have got a insert here. Sorry. So basically I want to have a single point of access for all the player profiles. I don't want to be passing it around. Because it is considered to be global state as far as I'm concerned, and everything should be operating on the same object. And I'm operating on the assumption dangerously that you might have multiple profiles active at once, because you could have like a local multiplayer thing eventually, which is a dangerous thing to do, and it's not what I would usually do, but I am sort of assuming right now. And I guess you could have wrapped it all into one file, but this makes it easier. So if you assume that we did that, so basically if the file loading here failed, then I want a fresh profile with nothing in it to add instead. So for the game, we can basically go profile 0, like that, and I would expect it to attempt to find the file and fail. Get tracks would be a useful thing. To be honest, I should really do it like this. Tracks.keys. Yeah, that's what I thought it would do earlier on. It doesn't like the termination that I did in here, so score equals entry score. Crashes, and I can get rid of those. Null does not implement count. No. Map key sequence. I would have expected that to be a thing. It's to catch the errors from. Sorry, hello. Hello, Dark Skill. The reason that I've got a fiber try there is that the file system object will throw a exception if the file is missing, and that's what I'm catching. The only way to actually test for the fiber aborting, which is what will happen, is using the fiber try. Even though Ren's exception model is to pass you back a string, it marks the whole thread as having failed and unwraps the call chain. So it basically goes back up and says, did this check, did this check, did this check, did this check, up until it hits the top, and then aborts the whole VM. So I have to catch it manually. I've not done that in other places at the moment, but I'm very aware that I don't have a file right now. So ideally, Ren would let you pass back anything as your error object, and it would allow for slightly more rich behavior. But unfortunately, that's not what it does. I was thinking recently about trying to do something fancy where you actually do catch the string and convert it to a error object for use in Dome, but I thought that would be more complicated for minimal gain compared to other code. It also ruins interoperability and stuff, so I left it alone. So yeah, thank you for the question. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, so that's doing something all the time. I would have expected, I mean, at least it doesn't error out, so I can at least do things, but I guess the toString here is a problem. But I mean, it knows it's a list, so it probably is doing the right thing. So if I go back to main, what I really should be doing is something more like well, actually, I'm just debugging something at the moment, so this shouldn't print anything, that's fine. And then if I do profile 0.dat, and I want to see the profile dat, just checks. And I go track. I guess. Hey, Moore. Or Mura, I don't know, I'm not sure how to say your name. Yeah, the game's going alright. It's not changed radically since you last saw it. I've not made too much progress, I'm just sort of filling out bits and pieces. Okay, so that didn't work, which is disappointing. Well, it is reading the file though, so is that saying then that the interpretation is wrong? Profile 0.dat. Yeah, last stream I was mostly focusing on getting all the menus to work correctly, so that you could finish up a game and then it would give you the scores that you had for that run, and then go back to the main menu, go back into the game. But I realized I had like this completion leaderboard type thing, but no way of tracking the scores across plays. And I thought that if you wanted to race around a track and compare your scores, you need a way of saving that, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. Most likely I've just made some sort of silly error here. Sorry, I've got flies in here. Yeah, I am. I've got this sort of file format going on that I'm just writing up the interpreter for. Nice and simple. I've gotten fairly good at using this sort of file format where you just have space parsing, but for some reason it's not quite working right now, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. As always, if you're watching and you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer whatever. I realize that if you're jumping into a stream and somebody's just coding and talking to themselves, it's a bit difficult to understand quite what's going on for context, so try not to repeat myself too much in the process. But sorry, I just realized that it got really warm in here. I forgot to do that, but that shouldn't really mess up things. Most likely the issue is on the other side, trying to get the thing back out of the object, but yeah. Let's just check that I'm not accidentally just overwriting it. Oh, okay, so that's wrong somehow. Let me check that I have that correct, because that's weird. Okay, so profile does not implement name. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's my fault. That's the downside of using try like that. That's that one. I've just been doing all the JavaScript today, so that's weird. And then null does not implement tracks. Why doesn't it implement tracks? technically that doesn't work if the count is 0 and n is 0. But I can't change that because if I want n to be 1, but the count is already 1, right, so if n is greater than or equal to the current profiles count, and no, because it's 0 and 0, so it should come in here. Oh, I know what's up. Load would be better if it actually returned the profile that it had made. Ta-da! Much better. Let's go tidy up. Okay. Yep, because then I can go into the view and be like, okay, grab me the profile. And for the finish, well, does this happen? Really? This would actually happen in the model. Add score. Track.path. Player crash count. No, player move count. Player crash count. Like that. It's going to complain because the profile might not have been created yet. The track data in the profile. So really I need to do that. Down here. Just to guarantee it. So let's see what it looks like. Bam. Let's go to race over here. That was pretty good. We saved well. I suppose we haven't actually saved yet, so we should do that. Let's assume that we use the same system. Oh, but they don't know what their numbers are, do they? So that's actually quite dumb, but... because then you'd do that. With the index, which is passed in here, and in here. Because then it always knows which one it is. Profile index.dat data.join like that. Should probably move the finish line again, but I wrote to the file system though, so that's good. I guess I actually wasn't paying attention. Was that 12 moves that I did? Rather coincidentally. I guess we'll try it again. Pay more attention. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13. And quit. But it didn't do that there, so what's happening? Does it not increment the counter properly, perhaps, in the model. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Well, it's probably an ordering problem. Yeah, what's probably happening is that the finish and move events are coming in the wrong order, although I thought I had fixed that before. I had not. Oh, that's why. It's because it's actually being pushed through from the nested action. So there's no way to tell for the player which way around that was. Oh, that's tricky then. Yeah, so what's happening is that it basically gets this finish event first, and then all the players' move event stuff happens after. And that's problematic. I mean, really, the move event should be in here. I guess that a lot of this is actually applicable up there as well, so... maybe I need to move it all, because there's probably minimal value in it being a player move action specifically. Stupid flies. Yeah, because this would all be stuff that you'd want to do to every player, so why did I keep these separate? It was the score was one short, so it will have copied the value because I was counting aloud, so it had 12 and I counted 13 moves, so it will have recorded the value and then incremented it rather than incrementing it beforehand because the events were out of order. Yeah. Oh yeah, the hey, you made it, werewolf. Yeah, the UI will have had it correct, but the file had the wrong score, so it saved it wrong in the file afterwards, which would confuse people. So I suppose that really you just yank all of this and put it in here. Kind of. I need to record the source like that though. But otherwise, I think that all of that ends up the same. I don't really remember. This is probably just a holdover from other stuff. Really, I don't even need that. I wonder why I did it like that. Speed and direction. I mean, it's all in source control, so if I just broke everything, it should be fine anyway, but... Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 is here, that's fine. And nope, that's there. And that's because I didn't actually move the event. I know. Okay. Action. This stuff needs to go up here. And then if we finished, do that. Otherwise, I've been getting annoyed by the fact that I've been finishing and then crashing into the wall, so I can kind of fix this at the same time by doing that. Because it's basically, did I finish? If I finished on this frame, then don't check the crashing. Otherwise, do check the crashing. Although, the chances of actually having a barrier right behind the finish line in the finished track designs is minimal, but it's a weird edge case I don't like, so let's try this again. Counting with dome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 times. And the profile says 16. There we go. Hoorah. I should probably crash a couple times to check that that's being recorded correctly, but oh no. Crashed. I actually made it very difficult to crash if you're not moving very fast, so which I thought was a kindness. I might change that again. I did crash twice, we did a lot of moves. That seems to work. Now I need to print it onto the screen. So for score in profile 0 dot scores view dot model dot track dot path, which is a horrendous thing to do, but don't even get me started right now. Do canvas. We need a 24 plus 8 is what, 32? Make it 40, give us a bit of space. Print. Scored. Let's change that to entry. I can't do interpolation with key values in maps like that, so I need to break it into a variable. Crashed. I could have copied this from the other thing, but don't worry about it. Like that. Cursor equals cursor plus 8, so that we can go down. And top left X, cursor, color right. How are we all doing today anyway? Having a good time? Keeping busy in this weird world that we live in? Again. Oh. I do sometimes get annoyed by that, but it's fine overall. I'm kind of let that go. Not healthy to hold on to that sort of frustration. Ooh, there we are. So now you can see all your previous scores. It's pretty spiffy. It should really omit the final one, because that's literally just what we achieved right now, but trying to make our first game as a company nowadays. Been a company for 3 years, but even though we have a game, even though we want to be a game studio, we have to make a living, so we're mainly working on a... okay, so you're sort of doing work for hire stuff and then working on your own projects on the side, I guess? That's cool. That's a way of keeping yourself afloat. It's such a difficult industry to stay in. This is why I never went into it professionally. I don't really have the freedom to pursue that. Yeah, which is a great way of doing it. if it's working for you. It's just difficult juggling the time, I guess, because you need enough runway from one project to fund the project that's happening sort of simultaneously elsewhere. Which is a little tricky, but it's actually really smart that you're doing the VR, AR type thing, because it's quite niche. Not a lot of studios will do that, so you can charge more for it. That's true as well. You do get a little bit less choice in what you can pick on, because yeah, you really do need to keep up the stream of work. That's a risky thing, but if you've managed to do it for 3 years, it must be going kind of well. Yeah, nice. I made a decision at the start of my professional career that I would probably never work in the games industry directly because the job security is just not there. And so I do professional software engineering stuff. I make websites and web apps and things, but I never get to say, no, I'm done with this, I'm going to go and work on a game, make some money, whatever. Because I needed the stability of a corporate job, I guess, which has its upsides and its downsides. So all of Dome is basically subsidized by my spare time. I do all this for free. That's good. I'm glad that you're making it work and it's keeping you happy. Job satisfaction is a real important thing. And if it's something that you have creative control over some of the time, that's pretty powerful. I respect that. We all make our own path through things, so yeah. I wanted to take off that last track entry if I can. Can I take off all but the last one using the list or the sequence? I could, because what I could do is what I'd have to do is yank that out and say scores like that, and your track scores dot take scores dot count -1. Yeah, that's I think you're doing the right thing there. You have to try and keep pushing, at least until you get your side project out of the door, and hopefully that's successful enough on its own merit to boost the funding for the next side project, or the if there's whatever you need to do with that. So I think you've approached it in the right way. I mean, I'm no expert, so you don't really need my approval, but I have a huge respect for it because it's an industry that I would love to be able to work in, but I don't feel like I could. Yeah, so that's now omitting the previous run. So you'd expect there to be 2 17s in the file when I close it out in a moment. Yeah, double 17s. Very nice. Okay. So let me move the dat here. Nice. That was, what was that, about an hour's work? Pretty good. git add star.rem profile start load and save with new board display. Because now at least you can do multiple runs, see how you did, compare it, try and do better. So it fulfills enough things for me to count that as a game. And I can just take this off, check this out, bam! Oh, there we go. So that leaves one more thing, I suppose. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's true. So being in the EU or even in the UK is better than being in the US for workers' rights stuff. So definitely the right place to do this, because at least you get the sort of basic healthcare rights and things in most places, and all sorts of other protections. So that's really good. I was watching a video today about the way that Telltale Games closed, and that was just horrific as well. Because it's not just the crunch, or the crunch is awful, of course, but the way that workers are treated during severance and shutdowns and layoffs, etc. It's not how I want to go. Having had 2 companies early in my career close down their offices, it's not something I'd wish on anybody. And they literally had no warning either. It's like literally they showed up to work, 9 AM, all hands meeting, sorry we're closed, go home. Oh, I don't want to deal with that. And that's the thing, that could happen to any studio really. And while you can have that with any company, generally a secure, a more established job is going to be fine. Yeah. I sort of, the path I took in life meant that I kind of needed that security quite early on, with my partner and our commitments together, so I didn't really get the freedom to try and explore that kind of thing separately. But, I mean, if I found a good idea, like a really strong idea, she'd probably go for it, but no. The security will do. Right, so I'm gonna try, bring that back up. Yeah. Let's see if we can hack together a real quick track menu. I don't have a great way of figuring out if this will work. So what we need is in here a nice array, and the var index is going to be 1 to start with. So we'll continue. Fiber.new call. Track.load. So we basically say, try and add this track to the thing. Result equals that. If result is a string, we failed. Continue equals false. Otherwise, index equals index plus 1. Try again. Because then we can go for track. Tracks. I forget if I gave the tracks a name property, but if not, I'm going to add that later on, or very shortly, I suppose. So then the hope is that I can get rid of that entirely. Yeah, at the moment tracks don't actually have a name, which is not ideal, but I can use the path for now, it's fine. I wanted to give them all cool setting-based names. Oh. Yeah, Lid and Dare is this weekend, but I'm working on a game already. I can't really take a break from one game jam that I'm not quite ready for to do another game jam. Lid and Dare is always at the worst time for me. Every time I'm never well timed to do it. What was the error? 14. Literally, apart from once, I think, I was in a good place where I could really manage it. Okay, that's a start. I can work with that. It's because the width. I would have expected that to be better. Oh, I know why. 1, 2, 3, 5. It's because I forgot to counter the play. There we go. So now it scans the folder that it's in for all of the track DATs that it's got available, and it can load them. Now I just need a way of picking it for the editor as well. So if I say that's called edit, and the 8 plus the 4 by 8, 16 tall. It's going to be at cursor height every time, but the X position is going to be different, so I suppose you want it to be after. I mean, the edit button is mostly there for me, not for the players, but you kind of want to make that available to people. So I'll probably redo this in a moment. Play width is actually that. I guess technically it's 6. We'll just simplify it by saying it's always that. Because then I can do away with this expression. Do play width. And then we can say this plus play width. Cool, thank you very much for stopping by. Hope it was vaguely interesting. It was good to chat with you. Have a good rest of your evening. Just adding in a button to make new tracks for myself. Like that. Oh, so close. Bam, there we go. Because now I can change all of this. I wish I had like a clear all button. I guess you could be really mean to somebody. Like, really mean. And do that. that's interesting though. Yes. Damned flies. I think I'm nearly done for the evening anyway. Sorry, I was celebrating catching a fly rather than success with what I was trying to achieve here. Okay, yeah, that actually did work. Thought I'd be really mean to myself and basically trap myself on a tiny island. But the question is, can I make a new track? So if I come in here and I go new track, it for whatever reason puts that over there, but like that. So if I save here, I would expect this to be track 3. I guess not. Is that because it doesn't, oh, it overloaded, I guess? That was weird. Well, it overwrote that anyway. That's suspicious. What do you think I've done? Do you think I have Yeah, I have. What was I thinking? To be honest, I probably don't need to pass in a file name. Well, no, I will, because that could change in the future. That's why it didn't work as I expected earlier. So we've got this brand new track. It's going to be big and amazing and high budget, and it'll probably look exactly the same as it was, at least in general quality, I suppose. And save. Oh, that's not what I expected it to do. It should be a different number than that. Oops, did I just completely lose the previous track I had because of that? I probably did. Because that's that track that I just drew. Yeah, I've lost it. Okay, fun. And it's because that should actually be +1. I suppose it wasn't really a great track anyway, so I shouldn't be sad about losing it, but I have been testing with it on stream for a little while, so it's sort of just a thing to be sad about. That should be track 3. Go back, and now there's track 3. Hurrah! This is a terrible title screen, but At least I can come in here, I can look at that one, I can go back, I can look at that one, which is the same, but I could change it. There's some glitchiness around that stuff. I mean, it's not the best tile editor in the world. It's just what I want to get me going. One. Oh, that's interesting. Let me know. Yeah. One, two, and three. Nice. I think that we will call it there for this evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming by. And that's a title menu for many tracks. So at this point, apart from having really terrible tracks, the game is kind of done. So I imagine that the next few streams, I mean, there are 4 streams left before the jam actually ends, so I'll probably be doing some mixture of content creation and art type stuff, and maybe bits of animation-y bits over the next couple of weeks. But I think that was pretty solid and important stuff, and I think that was pretty crunchy as well, so I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Werewolf. Hope to see you again. Have a good evening.